Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Perdue, and I am the infrastructure nerd. And today you are lucky enough to be attending our, what month is this? June, our June 2014 Coffee Pot webinar. And today we are talking about logging time when you're not at your computer. Now, there have been other webinars where we've talked about this stuff. We've talked about it in our virtual user group meetings. I think we've talked about it everywhere. But this is the webinar that's going to pull it all together, and it's kind of timely because STI has just introduced yet another way to do this. So, without any further ado, I'm going to press the magic button. The magic button. The magic button. And I'm going to tell you about our control panel that you may or may not be looking at right now, kind of give you a little introductory info on how to get around this webinar if you are attending live. This is our GoToWebinar control panel. If you're still seeing this on your screen, then you can get rid of it by clicking on this little arrow key here that looks like an arrow, this button that looks like an arrow pointing to the right. That will cause this big screen to get out of the way. It'll slide off your screen. These buttons will still be here. This one that previously, when you clicked it to get rid of the big control panel, it looked like an arrow pointing to the right. It will turn into an arrow pointing to the left, and clicking it again will cause this to come back into focus. Why would you want to bring this back into focus? Well, I'll tell you. You may be shy, and yet you have a question. And so if you're shy and you have a question, you can type it here. Don't forget to hit send. Leanne, our humble, capable, and caffeinated moderator, will notice that you have a question. She will interrupt me at the appropriate time, maybe too early because she's had too much caffeine, but we won't go there. And she will ask your question on your behalf. If during the answering of your question you have follow-up questions, just continue to type them here, and remember to hit send, and Leanne will continue to ask your question on your behalf. If you're not feeling shy and you'd like to ask a question live, all you have to do is click this button here that looks like a hand with an arrow pointing upward in front of it, and that will raise your hand. Leanne will do the same thing. She'll interrupt me at the opportune time, but instead of reading your question, she will simply unmute you and let you ask your own question. So I'll take a sip of my caffeinated beverage, because perhaps I'm not already talking too fast, and we will, without further ado, press the magic buttons here. Now, I am over in an internet browser, and the two things we're going to look at today are Tabs3 Connect, both in its original implementation and in its new subscription implementation. And we're also going to look at iTimekeep, which is from a totally separate company. And Sally, if you're watching, we're not really going to log in as you. This is the last user I set this up for. We're going to log in as a guest. And so let's start with a little explanation. You can add time now if you have Tabs3 or PracticeMaster and Tabs3. You can add time when you are connected to your network. So if you've got your laptop computer on your desk and it's logged into your network, or you've got your desktop computer that you don't ever take away and it's connected to your network, you, of course, are connected to Tabs and or PracticeMaster, and you can log your own time. But the problem is many of these days are not entirely desk-bound. In fact, some of the clients that we have that are using these products are almost never in the office. And so that email or two that you reply to at the beginning of your wait in line at Starbucks to get your coffee may go unbilled if you don't have a way to get that time in right away. How many of you have sent an email or worked for people that have sent an email or countless emails or talked to countless people on their cell phone and then failed to simply remember and log that time? What we are going to talk about are these three opportunities to get that time into your system without having to be in the office. So the one prerequisite for either of these things that you do have to have an internet-connected device. Now that device can be a computer at home. It can be your laptop at Starbucks. It can be your iPad or your Android tablet. It can be your Android phone or your iPhone. Any device that's connected to the internet can use all three of these products, but they do need to be connected. You'll notice when we talk about it When you use Tabs3 Connect, the time goes directly into the software immediately. Very, very cool. You'll also notice when we talk about iTimekeep that all the time doesn't go directly into the software. There's a batch process to it. It still is able to look up your matters and look up your rates and see what it is that you're entering time for so that it can provide that validation. That, of course, all happens on the Internet. Now, let's start with Tabs3. This is Tabs3 Connect. I am going to type in my password. Oops, I think I've already messed it up, so I'm going to start over. And it is going to log me in, and these are the 6 things that have been available and are available now in Tabs3 Connect from the very beginning. Now, in a minute, we're going to look at the new Tabs3 only version. You're probably thinking, well, if you're not familiar with this, why would there be a Tabs3 only version of Tabs3 Connect? Well, it's a little confusing. Let me explain. Tabs3 Connect was originally released about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, for people that have the Platinum version, and that's an important distinction. Both of these Tabs3 Connect systems require the Platinum version of the STI software. And when it was originally released, it was for people that had Tabs3 and PracticeMaster. Tabs3 and PracticeMaster. Now, to make it even a little more confusing, the 6 functions of Tabs3 Connect are actually PracticeMaster functions. You do see fee entry, but those of you that are familiar with PracticeMaster know you can enter fees in PracticeMaster. You do see cost entry, but again, those things, that cost entry functionality is available in PracticeMaster. So although it's called Tabs3 Connect, it is actually 6 features pulled out of PracticeMaster and put into the cloud. Okay? Now, why do they call it Tabs3 Connect? I'll answer that one right away and very quickly. That's the name everybody recognizes. So you've got 6 functions of PracticeMaster that allow you to do neat things while you're not connected to your network, as long as you're on an internet-connected device. And by the way, this screen looks different on an iPad and a little bit different on an iPad and a lot different on a phone because it actually restructures itself to make it look good on a phone. So it's very aware of the device it's on and very much able to adapt to the screen size that it's got. So here is fee entry. Just so you know, Purdue Law Offices is who I last had open in my Matter Manager, which is a function of Tabs3 Connect that we're really not going to focus on today. And so it says, well, he was looking at Purdue Law, so that's probably who he wants to enter time for. Of course, we can change it by dropping down this list and either selecting from the 10 most recently used clients or typing something into search for. It assumes that you're adding time for today, but of course, you can change it using these buttons, using the drop-down, to pull up the calendar. It assumes a T-code of 1, which in most systems is set up as a blank one, so you can just type, but you can change that either by knowing the transaction code number or alpha code. It assumes hours worked to 0, so that's the first thing you really do have to fill in. And I'm going to type in telephone call to Dave. So I just hung up my cell phone in Starbucks, and I'm going to very quickly come here, put in 0.25, say save after I describe what it is that I'm doing, and I've done it. I do not need to be connected to anything but the internet in order for this to happen. Now, this is instantaneous. If I go out here to PracticeMaster and pull up my client screen and get to Purdue Law Offices real quickly here and go over to my fee screen, you're going to see an entry for today for telephone call today for 0.25 hours. The minute I hit save and it brings up the next screen to enter the next fee, that is in there. So if Leanne were to print a bill today for Purdue Law Offices, hopefully she doesn't because it's not a real transaction, that 0.25 hours is going to be on there. Very, very cool. Now let's look at it from the other perspective before we start to talk about differences between the different ways to do this. The other piece of software that we have, and why do we have Bellefield? Well, we actually helped Bellefield develop its interface with Tabs. We're We're very closely connected to Bellefield, for one thing, but we really, really like Bellefield software. Why would we want to sell it if Tabs has this functionality? Tabs3 Connect, the original version that does require PracticeMaster and Tabs, the new version that we'll talk about in a minute, and its differences, that is for customers that have Platinum but don't have PracticeMaster. They require Platinum, and some of our customers don't have it. I have clients that have single-user 2-timekeeper licenses to Tabs, and they want this functionality. So for them to upgrade to Platinum, you're talking several thousands of dollars to get up to a platform that will allow them to have this functionality, or they can pay Bellefield for iTimekeep. Now, iTimekeep is $440 a year per timekeeper, and there's a $500 installation fee, and you have to have the ODBC drivers, which cost about $125 from SDI. So it's roughly $625 to install and $440 per timekeeper per year. So if you've got a firm of maybe 6 timekeepers, where 2 of them want to enter time this way, and they've got the multi-user version, and maybe they even have PracticeMaster, it would be quite expensive, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get that firm up to the Platinum level of the software that would allow them to do this. Maybe just a little less depending on how their PracticeMasters are configured, but nonetheless, a big chunk of change. And it would be a little less, $625 out of the gate plus the first year for the 2 timekeepers, the $880, and they could be doing this with Bellefield, with iTimekeep. So that's why there's iTimekeep. It's for those people that don't want to get to Platinum but do want this capability. So what is iTimekeep? This is iTimekeep. Let me log in as a guest. And by the way, you can go here if you want to play with it. Just make a note of this. webapps.bellefield.com/iTimekeep/home.aspx will get you to this login where you can log in as a guest, and you can also download the app on your iPhone or your Android device by simply looking for iTimekeep, I-T-I-M-E-K-E-E-P, in the appropriate location on whatever type of device you have, and you can play with it. That's how we're going to do it here. So in iTimekeep, you basically just say, hey, I want to add some time. You pick a matter, and it knows who your matters are. That's why it needs that internet connection. You choose a different date if you want. You tell it how many hours. And this time entry screen's kind of, little window, it's kind of neat because it has some predefined times, quarter, half, and 3/4 of an hour. You identify the task, and you put in your and you save it. Now, one difference here between that and what I just showed you with Tabs3 Connect is this is not in Tabs yet. And it won't be until I submit my time from my device and someone at my office runs a batch file that pulls all the time for anybody that submitted their time, for all the timekeepers, into the system. So I can keep this on my device, or it's actually in the cloud, in a very secure Bellefield cloud area, and submit it at the end of the month. I can submit it every day. My person that runs my billing software at the office can pull it in every day, every week, every month. It doesn't matter, but it is a batch process. It's not instantaneous like it is with Tabs3 Connect. So that's an important distinction. But as you can see, it's extremely easy. Somebody replied to the email that we sent yesterday or the day before saying that she actually sent this email to her administrator, and the administrator then forwarded it to me, and the lawyer had said, I like this one. It looks very easy. It looks like it's Julie-proof. And that's what iTimekeep is. It's very easy. It's, dare we say, it's attorney-proof. And Tabs3 Connect is too. Both of these things give the attorney or paralegal, anybody that's entering time, a very easy way to enter that time. And because of the fact that they can do it anywhere, many people will, even though they're connected to their network, many people will actually use iTimekeep or Tabs3 Connect while they are in the office. So Leanne is raising her hand. I don't know what that means. I assume she has a question for me. Leanne?
Well, Austin has a question for you, and I think what he means is the time immediate when using Omega and iTimekeep or other systems too?
No, iTimekeep is always a batch process. Well, yes, always a batch process. At least the attorney has to submit it. I am not familiar with specifically how iTimekeep pulls into other products, but the attorney still has to submit it. So if I go ahead and save this transaction and put in talk about how easy it is to use, and then I can't use it. But I can't chew gum, talk, and walk at the same time. So if I save this, I now will have, I believe, 2 transactions ready to be submitted. So again, it's still not immediate. Now what Austin is talking about, he must be at a firm, it's probably AJ, and he is at a firm that uses actually WorldDocs from us, but does not use any of the STI products. And the thing about iTimekeep is it works with other products, Omega, PC Law, I think basically every timekeeping billing package that's out there. Now, Austin, I can check for you on whether or not it'll pull into Omega or any of the other packages instantaneously, or if it still requires that batch. But I do know that it's still a batch process from the timekeeper standpoint, in that they log this time and then they still have to submit it. So if you'll, Leanne, if you'll make a note, I'll email Austin and let him know what I find about the other end of that. Now, what does it all cost? Well, I've already told you about iTimekeep. iTimekeep is roughly $625 to get in, and it's $440 per user, per timekeeper per year. It's a subscription product. What does Tabs3 Connect cost? Well, if you are a Tabs3/PracticeMaster user and you're in a firm that's got Platinum, nothing. You just need to set it up. And it is literally as easy as, it's as easy as going here, checking this box, putting in an email address, and letting it default to the max of 30 for timeout, and hitting start. That's how hard it is to start Tabs3 Connect in a firm that already has Platinum and has Tabs3 and PracticeMaster. Now, if you don't have Tabs3 and PracticeMaster and you want the functionality of Tabs3 Connect, or let's say you do have Tabs3 and PracticeMaster but you're not Platinum, you need to get to Platinum. If you're not on Platinum, I can't begin to tell anybody how much it would cost except on a case-by-case basis. So if you want to know how much it would cost to get to Platinum, all you have to do is shoot me an email or give me a call, and I will let you know exactly how much it will cost to get to Platinum. Now, the last part of the puzzle is that about a month or 2 ago, and I'm going to escape out of here and switch over to here, STI released the Tabs3 only version of Tabs3 Connect. So you're thinking, okay, what do I need for that? You need Tabs3, and it has to be Platinum, and it is then a subscription. And what that means is you pay $60 per timekeeper per year, and they have to be named timekeepers. In other words, you say, Bob, Phyllis, and George are going to be using Tabs3 Connect, and you can't, it's not how many people are using it at a time, it's just how many people are using it. So if you have Tabs3 and Platinum, you don't have PracticeMaster, you don't want to get to PracticeMaster, but you still want it, now you can pay $60 per timekeeper per year, and they will give you Tabs3 Connect for Tabs3 only as a subscription. And just so you can see what that looks like, it's a little different. I'm going to switch this. This is all you do to switch an account over. You just tell it we're going to use it that way. I'm going to go over here and log out and log back in. I'm going to cross my fingers because I didn't test this before the webinar began. And, well, I'm not getting that. Perhaps I didn't save this. I bet I didn't save. And we'll try this one more time. And then if I don't get what I'm expecting, I'll just explain it to you. Yeah, there it is. This is the Tabs3 Connect only version. It still has fees, still has costs, still gives you access to clients, and still gives you the Matter Manager, which is not actually a feature of Tabs. But it does so from the perspective of only showing you stuff from Tabs. In other words, it's not going to show you stuff from PracticeMaster because you don't have it. Now, I should also point out, if you have Tabs3 Connect, if you have PracticeMaster and Tabs, and you have Platinum, but maybe you only have 5 PracticeMaster licenses, and you have some other attorneys that don't use PracticeMaster that want to enter their own time this way, you can still kind of mix and match. You can say, well, we've already got Tabs3 Connect for the PracticeMaster users. That's just kind of a given. It's free. It's there. And we're going to add on 3 subscriptions for the people that also need to add time but don't use PracticeMaster and pay the $60 per timekeeper per year. And you're kind of mixing and match. These people get the billing-only functionality. These other 5 people get the additional functionality because they're PracticeMaster users. So there you have it. 3 ways to get your time into Tabs when you're not connected to your network. And that could even be from your phone while you're sitting at your desk, or from your iPad while you're sitting at your desk. As I said, I have a lot of clients that use Tabs3 Connect or use iTimekeep even when they're sitting at their desk, when they could be entering the time directly into Tabs. $625 to install iTimekeep plus $440 per timekeeper per year. Free for user. Tabs3 Connect is free for users that are on Platinum and have Tabs3 and PracticeMaster. Platinum users with Tabs3 and PracticeMaster already have Tabs3 Connect, and it doesn't cost anything extra. And if you only have Tabs3, but it is a Platinum version, you can get the subscription to Tabs3 Connect for $60 per timekeeper per year. Are there any more questions, Leanne?
There are no more questions, Paul.
Okay. That's it for today. I'm going to very quickly show you that everything that we do, whether it be our virtual user group meetings on World Docs, PracticeMaster, and Tabs3, or our, did I hit enter? Or our coffee pot webinars, which is what you're listening to and maybe attending live right now, maybe you're already watching this, are available on our website. We also have a little bit of extra video content. We have the Paul and Mary Jo show, and which is kind of a TV show format where we cover some topics in some great detail. And we also, Mary Jo has these things that we call e-bites that are just short little 3 or 4 or 5 minute snippets of, did you know you could do this in PracticeMaster? Did you know you could do this in Tabs3 or World Docs? They're all here. All you have to do is go to our website. You have the 3 virtual user group meetings. You have the Paul and Mary Jo show, the e-bites video series, and the coffee pot webinars, all here. Not only is this where you go to register for the next one, but it's also where you go. Things are so slow right now. I don't know why. It's where you go to register, of course, for the one that's coming up, but also where you go to look at the recorded versions as far back as years and years. So all of our video content is available here, ready for you 24 hours a day. If you have any questions at all, I believe the long version of my email address should be showing on your screen right about now. If Brad, our video producer, is putting it in the right place, I hope he's not listed like the school, not the chicken. Paul@paulpurdue.com. Thanks so much for attending. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.